Hey friend, welcome to the treehouse. Want to come inside? Oh, wait, just one last thing. All right, let's go inside. Welcome everyone to Frame by Frame. I'm so excited to be here today, and I hope you're having a beautiful week and are inspired to go out and capture some photos, and maybe you posted a photo in the weekly challenge for this week. So let me know if I'm coming in loud and clear, and also comment if you submitted a photo for the Still Life Photo Challenge. Also, I'll be doing a review. Let me get our schedule up today of the Abstract Challenge from a few months ago in our rapid review at the end of this episode. Got a couple quick updates as well, but yeah, say hi in the comments. Let me know if everything sounds good. I hope if you were here yesterday for the Q&A, you enjoyed that live Q&A with Sam and Will. We got one coming up in a couple weeks if you missed that one. I also have a poll going on YouTube. Do you photograph RAW or JPEG? And so far, most people are photographing with both or just JPEG. Sometimes I wonder if I should just shoot in JPEG. JPEG quality is really good now. Hi, Emma. Hi, Maria. Good to see you. So a couple quick updates before we get into the reviews. Powerful Photography, my new class, coming out soon. I know I keep talking about this, but I am editing it. I filmed it. It's coming out really good. I'm excited about it. So look for that towards the end of October. Photo Dash update. Not a huge update, so hold your horses, but Sam, Will, and I chatted about it. We are having such a hard time finding dates where our schedules can align. We are not exactly sure where we will be filming, but the plan is to film the next season in January. So it's going to be a little bit of time before the next full season comes out. In the meantime, we have a special, hopefully little surprise, sort of a mini Photo Dash episode that I filmed partially in Europe. Sam and Will did the challenges here in the States. It's not going to be a full season with voting, but if you are interested in just a video, a one-off episode where we go out and we're doing the challenges, let me know in the comments, because it's a lot of work to edit them, but I think it could be kind of fun just to have that in the meantime. So yeah, hey, what's up? Bedtime stories in the chat. Let me know what you mean by update for the course, if there's anything else you're wanting to know. But today we are going to be getting into the Still Life Challenge and abstract photos at the end during the rapid review. If you are brand new here, let me know in the chat. I love seeing new students here joining the live stream for our frame by frame episodes. With the Still Life Challenge, I am looking for, when I think of a still life, I think of like those classic paintings that the Van Goghs, the paintings of like a vase of flowers or something like that, where it's maybe objects, not typically people or animals or necessarily plants, unless it's like something like part of like in a pot or something in your house, toys, something that's just a moment in time, something in your house, maybe something you see, signage, something. Yeah, we'll see what the photos are that you submitted. I also took a photo myself today for this challenge, so you get to rate the professor. That'll be coming up in the middle of my reviews. But yeah, so let's get into it. Without further ado, I gotta take some cat hair off this microphone though. All right, Still Life Challenge. as a reminder, if this is your first episode, I start my ratings off 1 through 5. 3 is like a good photo in terms of technical, it's composed well, lighting's good, it's in focus. 4 is something that stands out from that, maybe more creative. 5 is like I might give 1 or 2 photos per episode a 5. And then a 2 is where something about the technical element might be off, or it might not have hit the challenge the way that I think it should. And then 1 is where there's probably multiple of those issues combined. So most photos end up getting a 3. If you get a 3, that's still great. It means it's a solid photo. But I do try to be as critical as possible. And I'm getting used to like how I rate these photos. I think I have to spread out my ratings a little bit more. So, it's lovely to know that people are enjoying the Photo Dash season and getting their cards. That's awesome. I would love to see even just photos posted in the community of you playing or the photos that you capture. If you are interested in getting your own cards or you don't know what Photo Dash is, head to the Photo Friends community, photographyandfriends.com, go to Photo Dash. You can click here to get your own cards. You can watch 2 seasons of Photo Dash. Also, I'll just shout it out now. This week is the Sunset Photo Challenge. So this is a really fun one, I think. So get out there, take photos of the sunset, but I'm challenging you not just of the sunset, but some story, some interesting composition, something with the sunset as part of it, I think is what I'll be aiming to see and hoping to see. All right, let us get into these photos. If you have any questions, also, sorry, I know so much preempting. If you have any questions, like I can do some Q&A during this episode as well if there's anything burning, but also make sure you tune into the Q&A with Sam and Will. Awesome. So Cesar Guzman, lit up tree. Still life, kind of. Yes, it's like something that's there. It's like a scene. I would give this photo, I'm going to start off so critical and I feel really bad at doing this, but I'm going to give this a 1. I am like really sorry, Cesar. I usually like your photos. I just think like there's something about the tree itself that is not what I imagine as a still life photo. And I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. Like, and maybe I'm being too critical about what like the definition of like still life is, but there's just something about your photo where I'm not sure. So let me just show you an example of what I would imagine a still life photo to be. Now it's too late for everyone who submitted your photos, but let me go ahead and get you my screen. So if you look up still life photography in Google, this is what you're getting. You're getting these sort of scenes of, food, not necessarily food photography, but like some of it's like created art. And so a lot of this is based off of like what still life painting would look like. And you don't have to necessarily do exactly this, but this is what I think of as a still life, more so than what I saw in Cesar's photo. So I'm sorry about that 1 star, but that's just how I feel. Bob, welcome. Bob, if you're going to watch this, I know you're usually here, maybe for the review. This is a little bit more what I imagine to be like a still life photo. It's like these elements, these objects, these things that are just out set up in nature, not in nature necessarily, but in an environment. So subject wise, I think it's really cool. If you're here anywhere celebrating Halloween season, the fall season, then it's a great time for doing these still life photos. I do kind of like seeing everything but I'm also wondering if like the photo could have been a little bit better if it was like if your camera was down more like level with the main pumpkins at the bottom. Might have been a little bit more interesting angle. Tough lighting. I could see that there's like sunlight coming in through the trees, so you got some highlights and shadows that you're dealing with. I would give this a 3 just in terms of like the subject. I like the still life. I think maybe there was a more interesting way to compose this image than just like capturing the whole thing in a shot. But yeah. And if you have your own opinions, I would love to see what you think in the chat too. Abhishek. All right, so this is interesting. This is more what I would think like someone might try at home. They've got maybe some flowers. They find a flower. It looks like it's a little soft focus on the flower itself. Trying to see. Let's see. Yeah, I think like the flower, the center of the flower is out of focus. So, you know, the shallow depth of the field is nice, but maybe bumping up or closing down the aperture so you higher f-stop to get more in focus would have helped. So I'm gonna give this a 2. I think it's a good subject for still life. I think just the fact that it's a little out of focus is probably hurts it for me. All right, let's get to the next one. Tali, this is interesting photo. I can see that you did some extra work to try to like light the action figure. You put it with this like blanket or towels or something to create some texture and background, which I think is pretty cool. What I don't like about it is that the textures are very complicated behind your subject's head. And so something where maybe the angle of it or something, just changing the position of your camera so that like the textures behind the subject's head is a bit plainer, not as complicated, and then straightening it out. There's something about the way that the action figure is leaning and then the towels or the background are kind of going up and down on the bottom. It feels like it's tilted, so trying to straighten that out would be kind of cool. But still, I give you props for the lighting and the extra effort to try to make this work. So I'm actually going to give you a 3 on this one, Tali. I appreciate that effort. I think the backgrounds and the straightening out is what I'm most unsure about, but pretty good. Quick, I see a couple comments here. Maria says, will there ever be challenge with themes like sadness, happiness, loneliness? I love those ideas, and I'm trying to think. I had all this whole year's worth of challenges set out in the future, set out in advance. So you'll see if you go back that I'm trying to think if we have anything. We had like textures before. I think we've done things like sadness or happiness before, but I'm not exact. I'll have to look. Oh, we had a still life that was from last year. I'm going to be coming out with a whole new set of challenges for next year, because I haven't had those all scheduled out. So if you have ideas like this, I would love to I would love to get your ideas, because I like those sort of more thematic ideas as well. All right, let's get back to our slideshow. Brazil. This is cool. This is a cool object. And yes, bedtime shorts. I do pick the themes of the challenges myself at the end, sort of at the end of the year. The past 2 years, I've set up the whole year and I've gone through and I've picked them as well. I'm drinking kombucha today to get those probiotics, clean my gut. Yeah, so post your comments. I'm trying to think, probably like maybe what I'll do is, since I'm about to work on this, I'll put a thread together in the announcements on the community where people can throw out their ideas for that. So it's all in one place. That'd be great. I love the subject for this. I'm not a huge fan of the angle. I think it like could have been really cool with like some dramatic lighting on this skull and more of like a tight crop with like a dark background or just like a single texture in the background. Yeah, I feel like the subject is really cool. I think that the angle doesn't do it for me. It looks like unnatural that I think it's sitting on like a chair maybe. I'm being super critical today, but I'm going to give it a 2. I'm not in a bad mood, I swear. All right, let's see. Next photo. Massillage Mac. So this is interesting, and I expected some photos like this where it was more like out in the world still life, and I think that's really cool too. It doesn't have to be like this setup, like at home type of artistic still life. I like all the textures. I like the object there. The framing is pretty interesting, even though we have all these crazy lines. I think it's pretty good in terms of like feeling upright. I don't like that. I don't know if that's like a wood dolly, that plywood behind it with that red border. I wish that was just gone. So like this is a case where like you might get away with like moving that, honestly. If you're just taking a photo of this, like if you really care about getting this photo better, like go over there and like push it over to the side if possible. I've gotten more like just like nobody cares. Like nobody cares about you if you do that kind of stuff. So I think that would have actually made this photo a lot better. I'm gonna give you a 3 because I think it's pretty solid. Solid framing, cool composition, cool object. That one thing bugs me, but pretty good. Magenta Bear. Ooh, this is really cool. So again, just like another object, quote unquote, object found in the real world. I love like the story of this object being in this field with like the grass and stuff like around it. Since this is there, I like the lighting too. Since this is probably just sitting there though, if this is somewhere around you, I would try to go back and take this same photo without a car, like a new car in the background. I feel like that kind of takes away from the vibe of this photo. But overall, I really like the edit and the lighting. I think the sunflowers give a cool pop behind it. So 4. I like that. Paul Anderson. Okay, this is an interesting take on still life. It's not what I would do. It does kind of fit that theme though of still life, of this one person, super negative space, sitting there still. I like the composition a lot. It's got this very cool gradient of the sand to the blue water. So totally not what I would think of as a still life, but I still like it. So you surprised me, Paul, with this one. I'm gonna give it a 4 star. I think it's actually pretty good. Love the negative space. David Austin. Ooh, so this is cool. This is more what I was thinking of a still life photo. Even if it's something that you create. I actually have let me see if I can find it. I think I put together a little vlog from a while ago. Yeah, this was in 2019. I'm going to post this link though for anyone that wants to watch this. I almost cheated and was like, I'm just going to post this photo that I did for the Still Life Challenge like a long time ago, but wow, this was like 6 years ago. But maybe watch this afterwards. So that's me creating a still life photo with lighting, with composing and everything. And similarly, I'm sure that like David probably grabbed this feather, put it on this cool textured wood, probably lit it somewhat. There's something weird about the wood texture where like it might look like this naturally, but my guess is like there's some sort of radial filter around the feather where the texture and color of the background wood is like more yellow and more sharp, probably because you wanted that texture on that feather to be super sharp. But then around it, the wood looks softer and a little muted, and it looks unnatural to me. Maybe that's how it was, but my guess is maybe you put like a little filter around the feather where to boost that texture or the contrast or the sharpness or whatever it is. So that's like a super picky detail. If you're gonna do that, I might have even gone even harder on this technique and done more of a vignette just to make it more dramatic looking. This is one challenge where I think having a vignette could look cool. Usually I'm like, don't add a vignette. It makes it look like so amateur. But I think this is one, if you're setting up a scene like this, could work pretty well. I like the top-down look too. I'm going to give this, oh, that was the wrong button. I'm going to give this a 4, another 4. Good job, David. All right, next photo. Esther, exactly kind of what I imagined for this frame, this challenge. I like the framing. The only thing I really am bugged by is that I feel like the vase should be rotated completely around or at like a 90-degree angle so we can see the face of those flowers, these beautiful like orchids or whatever these are. But like on the top, you have 4 flowers, and 2 of them I think would look really cool if it was flipped around. Lighting wise, I feel like lighting could be a little bit better, but I'm not gonna ding you too much on that one. But yeah, flip that around, or maybe even 90 degrees so that the petals, the flowers on the right side of that vase are facing the camera or something. So I'm going to give you a 3. I like the sharpness. I like good focus, good composition. But for this kind of challenge, like play around with that angle. And maybe there's something on the other side of that vase that like, doesn't look good. But that's just my thought. Kayla, ooh, this is cool. Nice. I really love this photo. I think I would crop out the window frame at the top. That highlight kind of bugs me. I would probably crop it a tiny bit on the right-hand side to match. Like the chair on the left seems to be a little bit closer to the edge of the frame just to balance that out symmetrically. I don't mind the angle. So I would do what I just said, like crop in just a tiny bit and that would fix it. Or come down with the camera. Get away from that like eye level view and come down with the camera so you're closer to the chessboard or checkers board. I think would be really cool. But I love the storytelling of this photo, so I'm gonna give it a 5. I love the lighting, dramatic lighting. It's really great for still life photography. So yeah, very lovely. Celeste. Oh, this is cool. This is like, looks like, a kid's bedroom or maybe your bedroom. Got the stuffy, got the Hello Kitty blanket in the background, got this funky chair with the textures in the background. I like all of that. I don't like, it looks like a window frame or a screen door in the background, that vertical bar. I would have maybe in editing tried to like remove that or switch the angle a bit. Like I think actually if you moved as the photographer to the left so that the stuffy was like more right in front of not right in front of, but like a little bit blended, like in front of the chair and the Hello Kitty blanket, and maybe even like backed up and gotten tighter to get like a closer in view of the stuffy. That could have been kind of cool. The lighting is pretty harsh in the back, just being so bright. So again, maybe like so if you as the photographer moved to the left, if you rotated the stuffy to its right a little bit, then the lighting would be coming more from the side rather than all behind, because like the shadow on the face is pretty harsh. So a little bit more side lighty than back lighty might have helped. Again, I don't know, just throwing ideas. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but I would give this a 3 for like a good solid effort. Couple changes that I would make though in terms of framing this up. Maybe doing it at a different time of day where the light from outside isn't as harsh either. Michelle, this is a little glass mirror type thing. Looks like some jewelry maybe. It's nice. It's clean. I like the reflection that you get from the mirror. I think the lighting is the thing that bugs me, or maybe the edit. It's just like very flat. I would boost that contrast up so that the highlights are brighter. I guess you couldn't do like a top-down angle because you would see the reflection of the camera in that. I'm curious like what more of a lower angle would look like, but I do like the centering of it. It's in focus. I think I would just edit it to get a little bit more contrast. Emma's here. And sorry in the past for Emma and whoever else, if I did not get your photo in the slideshow, I apologize. I have an assistant who helps me with that. Also, if you're watching this, we create the slideshows on like usually the Monday. So if you don't have your photo in by Monday, you might not get your photo in. But we're working harder to make sure we're not missing anyone who submits a photo. Very similar to that like old car photo. I like this idea. There's something about like an old broken down car or an old boat that's just been sitting here for years that I think fits the still life challenge pretty well. I think the thing that I don't like about this photo is the lighting. Because it's foggy, you get this like dull, foggy gray light. And for me, for the still life challenge, I feel like I want harsher, dramatic lighting. But, obviously you were here and that's the environment you were in, so you can't control that. But overall, the composition's pretty good. I think I like kind of like the rule of thirds. I'm not sure if I'd like to be tilted up just a little bit so that we see the tops of the trees, get a tiny bit of the sky, lose a little bit from the bottom. Maybe tighter in on the boat. But yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe tighter in on the boat because that is like the still life. But it is like, these are photos like this are like, I'm always like, man, what's the story behind that? What's the story behind that boat and who was in it? Who, boated that little boat around that lake or wherever you are. So, yeah. So I think it stands out a little bit more than just the basics that I would expect. So I'm going to give it a 4. Good job, Emma. Mubin, flowers. I think this could count as a still life. It looks like it's flowers that are outgrowing. It's not like in a vase at home. I like it's cool. It's centered. Focus is sharp. I like the shallow depth of fieldness is nice. It's a little overexposed on those petals because you start to lose the details in the petals. Maybe cropping in just a tiny bit to really center that sunflower would probably be nicer. Like when you're gonna try to center an object, like make sure it's centered. And you can tell just like there's more room on the top than the bottom from those petals. So fixing that crop, but otherwise pretty good. I think it's just like the story of it isn't like as strong of a still life as I could have wanted, but still really good. Maria, this I actually really like this photo. I think I like the just cleansiness of it. The cat by itself wouldn't fit what I think a still life photo would be, but I love that it's just in this like bowl, and that's just what cats do. And of course you get like extra bonus points for having a cat in the photo. It's just the cat handicap that makes me smile. Without the cat, probably like a pretty boring photo, but with the cat, it's funny. And like there's things that like honestly like the chair is pulled out, and it's like it actually doesn't bug me. Like part of me would like want to push that chair in just to be like have it like similar to the chair on the far right, but I actually just kind of like it the way it is. It's just like a story of the moment. So I'm gonna give you a 4. It's pretty good. I like the black and white edit too, negative space, all of that. And I knew this was coming up because I knew I posted my photo right after yours. I do not have a cat in my photo, although my cat was trying to take a bite of the flowers that I took photos of. So you get to vote me. This is your chance to rate me. Be as tough as you can on me. You don't the thing. I don't even want to say anything because like you don't get to argue for your photos at all. So it's like I shouldn't get to argue for my photos. So I'll show you my photo. I will say, as you can rate me, I feel like it was a little bit of a cop out. This is a bouquet of dried flowers that like I bought. I didn't put it together. I just put it on the table. I did try to light it nicely with a light, a video light. So I have like this light coming in from the side, but which I kind of like with the still life. I think of like putting a scene by a window where if you had dramatic lighting, it would kind of create this contrast and shadows. I also added more of a vignette, but I wasn't like, yeah, I feel like it's just the bouquet of flowers, and it's not like I want it to be more than that. Yeah, I want it to be more than that. So I think I agree with like you if you think it's like a 3 or 4. That's probably what I would give it. I appreciate the comments saying it's higher than that, but yeah, I know I could do better, I guess. But I do appreciate it. Thank you. I did have a photo. I don't have it here, but my cat was then like trying to chew on these flowers, and I thought it would be kind of funny to get that photo with the still life with the cat, but like I couldn't get in focus fast enough. So all right, thank you all. All right, next photo. Amar. Interesting. So this is, where is that? Is that like the UN seal? Tell me what that logo is. It's got this like, is that like a security camera? It's kind of interesting. It's definitely not what I think of as like a still life. I would have like tried to like in Lightroom, or if you were there, like move to the right just a little bit just to like perfectly be centered on this. It reminds me of the symmetrical photo from last week where it was the moon and then the hot air balloon underneath in the sky. Like it's a very similar composition, but of something totally different. But it's in focus. It's not, I'm not drawn into this much. So I'm going to give it a 3, maybe 2.5. Yeah. Arthur. Okay, this is cool. I like the light. I like the wine glasses. You got the bottles up top. It's pretty cool. I like the dramatic lighting of it. The angle, I think, is on purpose. It's at an angle, which is kind of cool. I almost wonder what it would have been like, and obviously, like, this is like maybe you couldn't go behind this or something, but like, what would it have looked like from the opposite side of these glasses with the light bulb being in the background, with the light being behind it? Because I feel like the light bulb is out of focus slightly, and the focus is somewhere in those wine glasses. But I'm kind of struggling to like know what to look at, I guess. It's like almost like it has to be whiter out so that it's more of just like this whole scene of like these glasses and the alcohol bottles up top, or it needs to be like focused on the wine glasses a bit more, but you still have these elements in the background. But I do really like the dramatic lighting and textures. I think I'm being pretty critical of that. So yeah, I think maybe it's more than just like a 3. I think so. I'm gonna give it a 4. All right. Ooh, Bill, this is nice. I'm curious if you edited it since you're here. Did you edit the background out, like mask it and just darken it completely, or did you actually have some sort of like pretty dark background that you used and then probably just dropped the exposure of it? But it's a very clean edit if you did the former. Lighting's pretty good. I mean, it's nice. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. To me, I'm going to give it a 4. It's more of like a product shot than like a still life. Maybe I want it to be more in an environment. Like I want it to be on a table or something rather than just like soloed out. But I still think like the like choice of making it with like the vase and the flower, it's all in focus, which I like. Which we saw earlier, there were some photos of the flower in a vase where parts of the flower were out of focus, but I think for this type of photo you want it all in focus. So yeah, pretty good. Maybe warm it up a little bit. I don't know. I think if you warmed it up, the flower would start to look a little funky actually, but yeah. Diana, this is fun. This is cool. Yeah, no, I mean, it's composed well. It's this pot that was probably just sitting there. It's in focus. The right things are in focus. The right things are out of focus. So yeah, it's a pretty cool photo. It's not terribly artistic in the choice of like storytelling, but it's a good photo. So it's a solid photo. So I would say like a 3.5, maybe a 4. I think yeah, it's a solid photo of this pot in that setting. Catherine, ooh, I really like this. I like the effort that went into setting this up. Very clean. I guess it's similar to Bill's photo. It's just on a white backdrop, which I don't know what it is about it to me that I like a little bit more. And maybe I'm stuck in this mindset of like imagining like these old still life paintings and then how do we translate that into photography? But I really like this. Colors are soft. It's not oversaturated. Maybe you could have made it more interesting with a little bit more dramatic lighting from like the side, or add some backlight somehow to these, just to with more direct or harsher lighting, you can get some contrast in there that I think could be interesting for a still life photo. But overall, I think this is what a still life is, right? So It's simple. Some of you might not agree, but I'm going to give this a 5. This is what I imagined for this challenge, and I really like the effort that went into creating the scene too, with the pears, with the flowers, with the vase. The choice of positioning for all of those as well, I think works really well. And Annette, so let's go back to this one and then come to this one, because I think I say I don't like comparing, but when I see this one to this one, there are some things that I like better in the first one. I think the framing of it, something's off. Like I don't care about seeing that textured cloth in the foreground. I want to see the objects. I want them all to be in focus. So I think this is a case where you got pretty creative with it in terms of building a scene, and you chose to frame it without the whole scene, which I think could potentially work. But there's something about like there not being a single, like there's not a subject for me to look at. Like, I don't know what am I trying to say? Like some things are out of focus, like the flowers in the foreground are slightly out of focus. And then the pot in the middle is like covered by these leaves and kind of like in the background out of focus. And then the cup on the right hand side is tilted and cropped out of frame. And I kind of wish I could just reposition all these things in a nicer way on that same blue background, which I think is really great because it makes everything pop, but just have them all in the frame, in focus. I don't know. Maybe I'm being super critical. Maybe I just really like that last one personally of Catherine's. And then when I see this, I have those gripes. So Annette, I'm sorry I'm picking on you, but yeah, something about it, I would just change the positioning and framing of them. I do like that you worked hard to try to put this together. So I really appreciate that. And I don't know if the green leaves at the top are necessary. I don't know. Am I being like so harsh? You guys in the comments, like, be nicer. Tell Annette she did a good job. All right, next one, Giovanna. All right, I'm just going to sit with this one for a second and try to come up with a thought, because my initial thought is this a still life? I don't know. I'm not going to count it. I think it's really cool. I don't know. I guess then it's like, why would I like that one of the ladies sitting on the beach compared to this one? It's kind of a still life. It probably was just still. I like the lighting, and I really like the composition. It's just not really the objects or the story of a still life that I imagine. The edit's very warm. Like, as a photo itself, it's very cool. I would give this like a 4 or 5. For the still life challenge, I am not sure. Yeah, I don't think it's, I don't know. The comments come in like delayed, so I'm like trying to wait and see what people think. Luna's photos also says good photo, not a still life. Yeah, it's a really good photo. Yeah, I agreed. I think we're all on the same page. And again, not your fault necessarily. Maybe the prompt for this challenge needed to be clear. I'm going to give it a 2 because I really like the photo, but it just doesn't seem like a still life photo for me. Ooh, Natalia, this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. This is definitely more of a still life for me. I like the silhouetting you get from this harp, with the lighting coming from behind. The reflection, I don't mind. I think it was probably trying to get creative with that reflection, but part of me thinks like it just feels like now the table is just like in the way of this harp. So either like getting down lower with the camera so you still see reflection at the very bottom of the frame, but just maybe make it less. Right now it takes up about like a third or a little bit less than a third of the frame. Maybe cut that down to like a fifth of the frame. And you could do that by moving the camera down. If I'm getting picky, like fixing the curtains behind just a little bit, or the positioning somehow so that, like, I don't know. I don't, actually, I take that back. There's something about it being like cropped pretty tight to the harp I don't like. So maybe, like, again, tilting that, coming down a little bit more headroom so that this harp like has more space around it. But I really like the lighting. It's very cool. I'm almost like wondering if like you just move that table and got it out of the way of just this harp in front of that window could have been very cool too. So I like it. I like the lighting. I like the silhouetting. I actually like a lot about it. But okay, Emma says the curtain's bothering her as well. Yeah, there's something about it. I think it's just like part of it is darker on the left, and maybe that's just the lighting, or is it just the layering of the curtain that, like, if you spread it out a little bit more, the left wouldn't be as dark? Or maybe it's just moving the harp to the right a little bit. Cool idea. Very cool idea. All right, Eric Harvey. These look like little like wall decals or something you put on the wall. I've never seen those, so I don't really know what it is. It's cool. It's kind of cool with the lighting. It's kind of a still life. I would have probably tilted up just a little bit to get them perfectly centered in the frame. Again, it's like you can see that Eric was trying to center it vertically, but like when it's off, you can really see it. So tilt up just a little bit, crop up just a little bit. Cropping might be hard unless you get a more panoramic crop. The lighting on the bottom left, that is a bit harsh. I'd probably give this a 2. It's not like exactly what I'm thinking for a still life. A refrigerator. I was wondering if those were refrigerator magnets too, but like the texture on the thing behind it doesn't look like a refrigerator. But that's what Carolyn likes or says. And Emma, I agree with you that I don't like that the light is not even. The one on the bottom left looks a bit harsh. It's still a cool photo though. I like the colors. They pop pretty well. Maybe I was too harsh. Suzanne, this is a cool photo. Black and white. Probably cleans it up a bit. Again, I think this is what I'm seeing in a lot of these photos. What I don't like is when, for like a still life photo, I kind of want to just see the whole scene. I want to see the whole object, the whole thing there. Not so much of like a super close up thing with some of it out of focus. Maybe that's just me, like what I'm expecting, but I think like something like this could have worked a lot better if it was like taken from the side. You got like 2 glasses sitting there as if it's like these 2 glasses left over from 2 people who were like having conversation or something. I don't know what that jar behind it is or what's in there. It looks like flour or sugar or something back there. Yeah, it's not bad. There's like some cool reflections going on there. I think it's just like again, it's kind of hard to pick one thing to look at. Like the subject is just not as strong. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a good, I think the subjects are cool. Like the textures of those little glasses are really cool. I just want to get in there and like play around with like where you're framing it and how you compose these things. So I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's not bad, but I think I would play around with it. All right. Cree Harris. Ooh, this is super cool. Love the dramatic lighting. Love the smoke you get from that drink. Is that smoke? I love the texture of the table that you put this on. It looks like a checker chessboard. You got a little bit of texture in the background, but it's super dark, so it's not distracting. And that's probably because you have like a super harsh light coming in. I don't know if that's artificial light or not, but it creates a super bright spot for your subject. So you're sort of exposing to that. You might even have been able to bring down the exposure just a little bit on the cup because it's so bright. But because of that, the background is dark, which I think is good. And I like the framing. I like that it's not centered actually. So lovely setup. I'm going to give this a 5. It's a great little photo. I love the lighting, the contrast, the texture, the smoke. Very, very cool, Cree. Very good. Mirella, lovely little flower. I like the lighting. I can tell that the lighting is a bit harsher because you get like these cool textures and contrast in the individual leaves. So I really like that. I kind of wish it was more of like a flower in a vase or a flower like somewhere so I can see like the story of where this flower is. Is it at someone's home? Is it at a hospital? Is it somewhere? But I guess like the photo that I submitted doesn't do that. I actually kind of like the shadows on the background too. It's like it doesn't have to be like a clean, solid, singular color exposure background. So yeah, maybe like cropped in a little tighter. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, it's a good photo of a flower. It's still life. Like everything about this, I like the lighting. I like the flower. I like the colors. I wish there was more elements in it, whether that's like a vase or you putting it together with like something else, a basket or some fruit or something on a table, a book, to create more of a scene. So that's my biggest complaint, but like the flower itself is really good. I'm going to give it a 3 because I think in terms of still life, like a flower by itself doesn't do enough for me, but like Mirella, I don't want that to like hurt you because I love the colors and the lighting. This is super creative. So the Abios, this egg standing on these forks, I actually really like it. It's very clean. I like the texture of whatever's below it. I like the lighting being a little bit harsher on one side than the other. You also get this nice reflection coming up from the fork that creates this like gold little flare at the bottom. The background, I think for this photo, I almost want to brighten it up just a little bit, just to have the egg pop from the background just a tiny bit more. But I don't want it like pure white. Pure white would make it look too like a product photo. So I actually really like this photo. It's very cool, very abstract. So I think for me, just because of the shapes and the creativity, I'm going to give this one a 5 as well. I think the lighting's nice and it shows like, man, you can do some pretty crazy stuff with an egg and a couple forks. That's really cool. Linda. So this is another one where I feel like, okay, this is more what I expected from a still life photo. Like just a vase of flowers in a scene works. Are those like packets? What is that? Is that like a note? Maybe this is like, what is that below? It almost looks like like a little baggie of seeds or like a note that came with the flowers. But in the photo, you can't tell what it is, so it almost looks like it's just like trash. And so I would like get rid of that. And then also, I don't like how the framing is so close to the edges on the left and the top. I would back out just a little bit. I feel like it's a little unstraightened. But the lighting is good. I think get rid of those papers, or if it's like a note, like prop it up or something so you can see what it is. You can see that there's like food. It's like on a table. I like that you have like this reflection. The sharpness and out of focusness is really nice. Just like a little bit more room, straighten it out, do something with that paper, and it's like a 5 for me. Right now, I would say it's a 4. Really good. I like seeing it in the setting of this like restaurant or at your home on the dinner table. Yeah, pretty good. Jonathan got this set of dice. That's cool. This is one again where I'm like, do I want to see the whole thing or do I mind the crop? I think that if you're gonna crop it, I would have cropped it more, but like really focused on the dice. Maybe put the cap on the backside of the dice so that like the dice is the main, that little holder with the dice is the main foreground element, with the cap being the background element. I feel like you're trying to like highlight the cap, which is really cool. It's got that cool carving type thing, which is nice. The lighting's nice. It is a little bit dark overall. I like the lighting because you get contrast. It's coming from one side, but it's a little dark. So again, this is one where I would like back out so we can see the whole element, the whole object. Or if you're gonna have it cropped, crop in more, and like so that it doesn't feel like we're on like the very edge and like wanting to see the whole thing. Right? Is that just me, or do you feel that way? I would I'm like, I've been giving a lot of 4s, which I feel like I would probably give this a 4 as well. The lighting's pretty good, but yeah, maybe like a top-down view of this would have been interesting too. Get everything sharp and focus. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think it like lighting's cool. I think there's enough in the like, I don't like the framing of this to make me not want to give it a 4. But the object is very cool. I think you could probably take a photo again of this and switch it up, or maybe you have some different options and post it again in the community. I love when people take the feedback and do something with it. So yeah. All right. So cool. Nice lighting, dramatic lighting. It's a statue or a set of statues somewhere. I kind of want to be able to frame this somehow where you can just get rid of that one on the left that's just coming into the frame, just to clean it up. Because I think if this photo is really gonna wow me in terms of like a photo of statues, which if you've watched my courses before or Photo Dash or anything that I do personally, like photos of like someone else's art in public feels like not as creative as you could be unless you do it in such a like creative compositionally way, a creative composition. So I don't mean to like harp on this photo for being like a bad choice of like object, but I think there's something that you could have maybe done with the composition to just be a little bit more creative. But the lighting's kind of cool. Again, we're at eye level looking down at these, maybe getting down lower so you're more eye level with that statue of the person sitting. Might have been cool. Yeah, I'd give it a 3. Yeah. I think we saw this one already. Karen. Looks like this was shot with flash. It was probably just sitting there. I would have tried to do something with this where if you could like position this in a different way or find a decoration like this in a different spot, be more creative with it. I'm gonna give it 2. I realized that I've been going at a lot. Oh, that was the last one. Wow. Okay, so then we'll get to abstract. Yeah, there's something about it where just the flat flash lighting isn't doing it for me. If you had a flash, maybe doing it more side lighty from the side would have been good. Yeah. Did I give this a 2? Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 2. All right, and that brings me to the abstract challenge. There's a lot of photos in here, so this is gonna be super rapid review like I do with these. But thank you for being here so far for everyone. Just to recap a couple things that I mentioned before anyone leaves, if you're tempted to go, I will be posting in the community maybe right after this thread for photo challenge, weekly challenge ideas. So go ahead, post as many as you have. I mean, there's a lot that we've done over 2 years, and some I think it's worth repeating. So there might be some repeats, but I also like coming up with new ones. So there's that. In 2 Wednesdays, we'll be back for Q&A. Next week, I'm going to be out of town visiting my newborn niece. So I'm not going to be here for Frame by Frame. So next week's nothing live, but I'll be back the following week. And then stay tuned in the community for the Powerful Photography course launch, which will be coming out pretty soon. And yeah. All right. So abstract. I don't know what this is going to be. This was a tough one when we pulled these cards for PhotoDash. So I'm curious to see what you guys came up with. So let me get some more probiotics. Help me focus. Feel good about this. We're going to get right into it. Paul Anderson. Ooh, fun. That's super cool. That is weird. What is going on? Is that just lighting that's creating that crazy reflection or shadow type thing? Whatever it is, it's awesome. I'm going to give it a 5. I love that. Magenta Bear. Tomas, what kind of bottle is that? Our lovely dude Phil needs to take the edge off while looking at it. Yeah, that's paint thinner. This is kombucha. David Austin, this is cool too, man. Wow, man. Whenever I do these rapid reviews, I'm like 5. Yeah, very cool. I like the abstract shapes, lighting, really good. I like it. Lorenzo, this is interesting. Super abstract. I'd probably want to be a little, even just crop in on that. So it's like you're tighter on those reflections. You lose all of like the reality of the building on the right and on the bottom. But still really good. I'm going to give it a 4. Aaron, super abstract. Texture, cool. Lighting's not as interesting as some of the other ones, but still a really cool photo. I'm going to give it a 3, like solid abstract photo. Not completely mind-blowing. Catherine, ooh, just abstract lights. That's kind of cool. This would be a cool background for like a slideshow or something. I'm going to give it a 4. That's pretty good. I like that. Priyadarshan. That is interesting. The lighting, I get the lighting's kind of cool, like because you want to see like the different texture, like you want to see like the shapes of these textiles. I almost want to just be like so cropped in or zoomed in on just like the textures themselves though. There's something about like, I don't even need that reflection. Reflections are cool, but I don't need the reflection for this abstract photo. Like just the colors and the textures of that cloth or whatever is so cool. Like if you were just cropped in or zoomed in right up close to the 3 colors, I think it would have been just, even more abstract and better. So cool subject, 3 stars. Katya. So abstract. I don't know what I'm looking at. I think it's a little too dark for me. Yeah, I think I see it's like the windows. It's the light coming in from the windows. Maybe if I saw more of the windows, I could have context for what I'm looking at. Not that I need context for an abstract photo, but I'm going to give this one a 1. I'm sorry. Eric, ooh, this is cool. Like this close up texture, you got some cool light, cool bokeh in the background, cool light on the left side with that warmth. I like this one a lot. 5. I meant to do 5. That's 5. And Maria, this was a challenge from like, I don't know, a few months ago. I'm going backwards with these rapid reviews to try to catch up. but it means I'm going further back in time. Ooh, I actually really like this photo. And I would call it abstract. It's it looks like you're in like some sort of temple or something, some building. I don't know what building this is. Maybe it's something famous I should know, but I do like all the shapes. It makes it kind of abstract. Or maybe is it uniform? I don't know. Is it abstract? That is the question. What does abstract mean? It's still a really cool photo. I would give it a 4. Yeah, it's kind of abstract because you're like not sure what it is. Alex, whoa, that is funky. What is that? Is that from like the motion of the camera? No. I have no clue what that is. 3, 4. I mean, it's cool. Abstract. Tali. Ooh, this is cool. I like that. It's so simple. I would crop out that little triangle in the bottom right corner. Crop that up. Just get rid of that little line and that corner of triangle. But I don't know. Maybe you like that. I really like this. I'm gonna give 4. I don't know. For what it is, like it's a 5. It's kind of cool. Todd. That looks like you had a long shutter speed on a tripod and you like went up or something like that. It's kind of cool. It is abstract. It's not like my favorite compared to some of the other ones. Ooh, that's weird. Is that like an eye of some like parrot or bird or something like that? Oh my god, look at that. That's weird. It's like a big eye. I like the textures. It's very abstract. Yeah, maybe a 4. It's kind of weird. I like how you can see your reflection in there. Magdalena. What is going on? What is this? What am I looking at? It's some liquid on something. Is that like oil on the ground? It is abstract, I guess. It's not the most interesting thing, but it is abstract, so I'm going to give it a 3. Annette. Ooh, I really like that one too. I'm going to give this a 4. I think that's pretty good. I like the lighting. I kind of like the split frame with some of it in the shadow. Super close up though. I don't actually like that. Is that like a flash or is that the sun reflecting in there? I actually don't like that. I just want to see the texture without that being a distraction. But you could probably get rid of that in editing. Adams. Ooh, this is super cool. Where is that? That looks like a staircase to nowhere. It just looks like a piece of art. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This would work for symmetry as well. Looks like that must be an elevator in the sort of the bottom left corner. I really don't like that that's there because it breaks up the symmetry. But I mean, it is very abstract. I would say 5. That's pretty cool. Isaac. Maybe I just like abstract photography because I'm really enjoying these ones. This is really cool too. Super abstract. It makes me think of like a film. The colors are like super funky. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. It is like I don't know if Maria, you're talking about a weird dream. I think you're talking about the previous one to Adams. That is like a weird Inception-like dream. This one also seems kind of like dreamy though to me. Clara, I don't know what is happening here. Is that abstract? I don't know. Doesn't seem abstract to me. Kathy, cool texture, kind of. There's something just about the lighting that to me doesn't seem as abstract as that blue one with the water. So I'm going to give this a 2, but still not bad. Whoa. Ooh, yeah, so that's weird. That is like art right there. 5. Weird, but kind of cool. Francesca, abstract shapes. For this, I would have tried to get as straight down as possible on this just to get it all perfectly flat. It's abstract. It's not like my favorite though. And that is it. Wow, I like that challenge a lot. That's very cool. Cool. Well, thank you for being here for Frame by Frame this week. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned, so next week I am not going to be here for the show. So what that means is in 2 weeks, I will be back doing critiques for, let's see, get back up to the top, Sunset, and whatever next week's challenge is. That'll be a surprise. So get your photos in for Sunset. For next challenge, I will post in the announcements here a poll or a thread about more challenge ideas. If you have not answered this question yet, I would love if you took a time to share with me how you make impact with your photography, whether it's through finding work, whether it's through just making people happy with your photos, or maybe you've used your photos as part of some sort of community activism or social justice cause, whatever it is, big or small impact. I would love to have you share your story here. And I will actually be using those as inspiration in the class that I'm putting out right now on how to make more impact with your photography, because I think it would be cool to kind of crowdsource ideas, not just from what I think you should do, but see what actually people are doing. So, Emma, you said your photos were missed 2 times in a row. Which photo are you talking about? Didn't I get your photo? As I wait for that comment, as always, I want to say thank you to our supporters. Before I go to the supporters, you can become a supporter. It's $5 a month. You help pay for the platform. We ebb and flow with supporters, but the cost to keep Photography and Friends alive, it's a couple $100 a month, and you help us pay for that. Yes, you can become a supporter over here on the supporter page. So that's kind of like a tip for us doing these live streams. I would really appreciate if you did that. Emma, I'm sorry. I will send you an audio message in the community. I will try to have my assistant who put these slideshows together double check their work. That's the problem with not getting everyone there in time. But yes, thank you for being here, everyone. All right. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. And I will see you in 2 weeks back for Frame by Frame. And before then, it will be a live Q&A that week as well. So come with your questions. All right. Bye, everyone. See ya. Thanks for participating.